When the kids came back to the garden, they didn't expect much. Just another test, another garden. But they found the skyline. Strange towers, futuristic and fragile seeming, but packed with an almost magnetic force. Figures paused mid-step. The city was frozen, like a glitching frame. Around it, time kept doing its thing. Question is, why? And this is what happened. In 1991, Ominent launched a routine trial. 9 volunteers, unpaid, mostly desperate, stepped into what they thought was a simulation. They never came back, not because they died, but because they were taken into something else, somewhere between a signal loss
and a software glitch.
A pocket of space-time, where a single day stretches into 10 years. We don't really know what happened during those first decades. To this day, the 9 are seen as something more than human, almost divine. We only know the first to rise were the Koryn. They didn't build with stone, they built with living clay. Programmable, responsive, alive, this material was crazy. They created forms the world had never seen. Towers that grew like bones, bridges shifting shape overnight. All of this was possible thanks to the Down, a deep connection between humans and ants. They built towers that touch the clouds. At first, they built upward, chasing the sky with elegance and precision, biggest towers we ever seen. But soon, curiosity turned downward. Beneath the garden, they found a vast ancient cavern, too symmetrical to be natural. And there, they started an inverted tower. As they descended, something changed. Speech faded into clicks. Machines moved without command. Workers followed patterns without speaking. But the deeper they built, the more they forgot. Until, in the lowest levels of the inverted tower, they no longer knew if they were human, insects, or machines. They started losing their humanity. Some say they reached the core of the planet and fractured something deep inside themselves. They returned to the surface, different, quiet. They build less now. They learned from their past mistakes. And now they are guardians of balance and structure. Then came the Sylis, not builders but listeners. They heard the world's hidden frequencies and shaped stone with resonance, improvised impossible structures as if sculpting sound itself. Some say their paintings weren't just colors but gateways to other places. While the Koryn stood for structure, the Sylis moved like chaos. Their visions never clashed. At least
Not yet. In an ancient ruined archive,
half
eaten by vines,
someone
found the word written again and again. Swarm.
A long time ago, the world itself turned violent. A swarm came from below, led by a queen who never died, only changed. She moved through roots, whispered through soil, and sent her children in waves. A never-ending tide of insects crashing against the ramparts of time-forgotten cities. Towers disappeared behind wings. Some waves lasted like entire lifetimes. There are other stories. One speaks of a tower that fell upward, built so perfectly it defied gravity, now drifting endlessly into a sky that forgot how to end. The old Sylis, they whisper sometimes of a forest, hidden beyond map zones. A place where plants glow with colors never named.
Swaying to a music only insects can hear.
Not normal insects though. Strange metallic things. Humming in robotic harmony. Scientists try to understand. They return deaf, staring into silence, haunted by rhythms their minds couldn't
contain.
They say the forests sing, still. But all of these are just stories, right? Now we welcome this silent city. The towers remain, the people still frozen. Only the garden breathes. Ominent believes this is a new test, a corrected version of their past failure. But the children are walking through the result of that failure. And somehow, unlike the rest, they can move. No one knows why. Not yet. High above, in the tallest tower of this crumbling city, two ancient enemies remain, locked mid-strike, in a battle that never began